What's up, Josh here. So in front of me, I've got three AR glasses, the XREAL Air 2 Pros, the Rokid Max, and the Viture 1 XR. And over the past few days, I've gotten to experience these glasses for myself for the first time ever. And I'll be here to report on sort of what I learned, what these glasses are good for, as well as which one out of these three is the best. Big thank you to XREAL for collaborating with me on this video. Let's get into it. So first of all, what are they? All three of these glasses sort of operate in the same way as wearable displays. From the front of the glasses, you aren't really gonna be able to tell that there's anything special going on. There's no cameras on the outside or any sensors. But if you flip it over to the business side, you'll see that there's a few sensors and crazy things going on. So embedded inside of this top portion of the glasses are tiny little screens, which get reflected onto this angled glass, which then you can see with your eyeballs. This is a proximity sensor, and then there's also buttons on the arms of the glasses. And so this one is sort of like a multi-function button. And then this will control your volume and the brightness. You'll also see that there are speakers embedded in the arms. They don't have a lot of sound bleed, so pretty much only you can hear what's going on. And then at the end of the arms, there's a USB-C port, which you plug it in, and then you plug it into your device of choice, and that gets mirrored, and you can see exactly what's going on. Now, the crazy thing about these glasses is that they don't have any sort of embedded battery, which means two things. First of all, you don't have to worry about charging yet another device. These are gonna be powered based off of the device that you're plugging it into. But also the other thing that it means is that it is extremely lightweight. So 78 grams for these, and they all sort of weigh around the same. This one's 80. And this one is 76. And so the nice thing is you can pretty much throw these on and they almost feel like regular sunglasses. There's not much weight to them. They're really well balanced, and yeah, they look pretty inconspicuous. Now, naturally, going into this, I had a few questions, and I'm sure you guys are curious as well. How good is the display quality, and also how big is the display? Now let's first talk about how big the display is, because this is one of the more confusing parts, because the way that they sort of advertise it is with actual size, like inches. So I've seen 120 inches, 330 inches, but what does that even mean? And so the way I describe it is it's a perceived size. So if you've got these on and you're facing a wall that is pretty close to you, maybe you're on your computer, the size of these I'd say are maybe like a 27-inch monitor, nothing too crazy. But then let's say you sit back on your couch and suddenly the wall is like 12 feet away from you. Well, now you've got like a 120-inch TV. And so it really is a perceived size. The size isn't changing, like the field of view isn't changing, but the perceived size is really what's changing. But yeah, these glasses range anywhere from 43 to 50 degrees of field of view. In comparison, a VR headset will be somewhere in the 110 degree field of view mark, and then our human eyeballs actually see 180 degrees of field of view. So yeah, what's interesting with these is that you still have your peripheral vision that is unobstructed, but sort of like in the middle quarter of your vision, you can see a pretty big display, which is really nice because it's on your head. You always have it with you. And if you want to tune out, you can simply just take the glasses off. Now, the thing with these glasses is that even though they're priced similarly, they are far from being the same. So first of all, let's talk about comfort. So on the XREALs, you've got these flexible arms in the back, whereas the other two don't. So on the Rokids, they're a solid arm. On the Vitures, they're also a solid arm. The XREALs also have 1.5 degrees of adjustment. Also, after about 30 minutes on the Rokids and Vitures, I felt a bit of a hot spot from the heat, sort of in the forehead area, which wasn't very pleasant. I didn't feel that with the XREALs at all. The other thing is obviously the looks. These are the XREALs, and in my opinion, they suit my face pretty well. I feel like these Rokids look really dorky. And then the Vitures, they're just a little bit small on my face, as you can see. They also all come with their own hard carrying case. I especially like how the Vitures have a separate compartment for the USB-C cable, which means that the USB-C cable won't scratch up your glasses. The Vitures also have a magnetic attachment as opposed to a solid plug, which is great if you ever get snagged on something. It'll just rip off like this. The XREAL's case actually is magnetic. The nice thing with the XREALs is that the cable is braided. The other two cables are not braided. But one of the biggest differences is the electrochromic film. So this is a thin layer of film that gets applied to the glasses that allows them to dim based on how dim you want your surroundings. So on the XREALs, you can see it goes from semi-transparent to dark to really dark. Now the Viture 1 XRs also have that electrochromic film. So if I click the button, you'll see that it has 2 levels of dimming. There's semi-transparent and then dark. The thing that you'll notice with these is that there's actually a tiny delay from when I click the button to when it adjusts. Now onto the Rokid Maxes, and unfortunately these don't have electrochromic film, so you're not gonna be able to dim out your surroundings. And this is probably the biggest difference between these glasses and the other two, is the fact that they don't have that film, which means that the contrast on the image isn't actually the best in most scenarios. Unless you're in a pitch black room, if you have any sort of light in your room, these just aren't gonna look that good because there's a lack of contrast in the image. So yeah, even though these are priced very similarly to the other 2 glasses, the fact that they don't have electrochromic film is pretty much a deal breaker for me and pretty much takes these out of the running for the best one out of the bunch. The thing I will mention though is that they do come with these plastic inserts, which will allow you to block out all of the light. And so you have that option to you if you wanted to carry these around. The XREALs also come with a plastic cover that you can snap on, but in my testing period, I haven't ever found the need to grab these because that third darkness setting is really dark. And then for what it's worth, the Vitures don't actually come with those blackout shades. You will have to purchase those separately for $9. But then moving on to the biggest factor, the biggest change between these 3 glasses is the display quality. Now, I did the best that I could to capture the image quality of these glasses, but as you can see, almost immediately, the Vitures and Rokids have some blurriness to their image. On the Rokids, we've got a bit of a blurry edge right here, and then the Vitures are basically blurry throughout their entire image. As far as field of view goes, the Vitures definitely have a much smaller field of view than the other 2. And then while the Rokids do claim to have a larger field of view, it mostly is due to the difference in aspect ratio, which most content you're consuming is typically 16:9. So in the end, it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Now, part of the reason the Rokids and Vitures might have worse image quality overall is because they have myopia adjustment dials for people with prescriptions. On the XREALs, you won't find any adjustment dials because just like the Apple Vision Pros, they support actual prescription lenses for the best possible image quality. And then the third factor that I want to talk about is the calibration of these glasses. So as soon as I put the XREALs on, they were clear. Like my eyes could focus on the image, and that's how it should be. But with these other 2 glasses, I just found that their calibration wasn't quite there yet. It just took me so long for my eyes to adjust to the image. Like I was cross-eyed for a long time and seeing double, and it wasn't until I covered my eyes and blocked out all the light that my eyes could slowly bring the 2 images together. Now, another thing with the XREALs is that they support 120 Hertz, which is really nice if you're using these with your computer or with an iPhone that supports ProMotion. The experience is noticeably smoother. And yeah, overall, you'll just have to take my word for it, but the XREALs truly have the best image quality out of these 3. But yeah, what do you guys think? Would you use these in your everyday life? Leave a comment down below. Consider subscribing if you aren't already for more tech videos, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.